What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to Meditations. So it's funny, isn't it? You go out and you see all these bitches who are betraying their nature. It's something that I, for one, am looking not to do. You know, I found over the years how there I am when I'm embracing masculinity or whatever the hell you call it. The fact that I'm a man, working, providing, being disciplined, being responsible, getting the women and climaxing in them. You see what I'm saying? Being attracted to femininity. It creates a perfect harmony. They fit together well. The masculine and the feminine. The masculine doesn't want another masculine in the house. Do you know what I mean? The masculine has to go out and compete with other guys everywhere. In the workplace, in the gym, in wars, in everything, in psychological ordeals. They don't want to have to go home to that bullshit too. What they like at home is femininity. You see what I'm saying? And the opposite is true as well for the females. Why they're attracted to alpha dudes. Although a lot of them are lying to themselves or betraying themselves. And good riddance to them as far as I see it. But I'm making this video to help you guys. To give you some insight. And for you to be on the lookout. And be careful and cautious and stay away from these fucking bitches. Let them find their own way out. No, I don't mean to be crude. I'm just kind of messing around. But what I say is true. So when I embrace that about the nature, I'm the most euphorically happy and pleased than I ever am. Than when I'm, say, sitting on my ass or just doing soy boy bullshit. And what's crazy is women, ironically, have been told to not be feminine anymore. And they're listening. Maybe that's just what they do. I don't know. Maybe they're just listeners. Let me know in the comments below. Not all of them. I think there's actually a resurgence of those who are embracing the old way. You know, there's a reason why we like that shit. This shit has been going on since the beginning of fucking time. The whole dynamics between man and woman. So what we've established separately is where we find our harmony and peace and joy. We find it in the masculine shit. We find it in competition. We find it in overcoming our enemy. They find it in other things. What do they find it in? They find it in taking care of the fucking house, raising children, cooking, cleaning, being, what do you call it? Nurturing. You know what I mean? Like these are sort of synergetic effects, but they're opposite. And that's why we go together so well. But of course, the powers that be, I suppose you could say, have really tried to pull this whole thing apart. What makes a sustainable civilization, which is the couples pairing up, the supporting the household, the going out and working and being good and moral and creating a nice sustainable civilization, you see? Because that's what worked out since the beginning of fucking time. So what's going on is they're pulling it apart. Where the women are told to be independent. The women are told to like soy boys, don't like masculine shit. They're told, go bust your ass for some corporation for the rest of your life and take out a student loan that you get screwed with on compounding interest. Insurmountable debt that you could never pay off. And if you ever meet a guy, he's going to have to take on that debt as well. And don't stay home and watch the kids. In fact, don't have kids at all. Just you both go your own way every day and go work with other men and other women at your best, getting all dressed up for work. And then you finally come home and you're worn out and you look like shit and you just want to go to bed. Not very sustainable, huh? But as much as it pains for me to say it, the women, they've betrayed themselves. They're told to not like the colors they used to like. You know what I mean? It's like that's where it begins. It's crazy. Like they're told not to like pink and shit anymore. So they're listening to that. They're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll like manly things. And then they want to go and get muscular and shit and be competitive with men. That's the crazy thing is men don't really want to compete with women. Do they? I mean, for one, when it comes to physical endeavors, we beat them every fucking time. But we're not looking for a competition in the house, right? We're looking for some peace and a partner, I guess. But we're not looking to compete in the fucking house. It's crazy. And I don't think women want that either. That's the point of the video, is they're not happy in this state. They're screwing themselves over when, because what they want is paradoxical. They look to the TV, they look to the movies, they look to Hollywood and all this fake shit. And you have like the masculine guys, right? Like the guys who play the masculine roles. And then in their interviews and on their commercials, they're saying all this woke bullshit. And it's paradoxical because the reality is the masculine men, they don't want that kind of woman. They don't want a woman who's all veiny and muscular and shit and who's trying to be tough and dominant. You know, that stuff is very repulsive. We don't want an independent woman. You know what I mean? We don't want a career-driven woman. Why the fuck would we want that? If we wanted that, we'd just be gay. We'd get roommates and we'd be gay. But most of us aren't like that. You know, most of us, for those who aren't batting that way or whatever, we want femininity. You know, we don't want competition in the household. So I would say don't tolerate this. Just cut it off with them. Who cares if they're hot? You know, so what if they have a nice ass? That's really going to be a fucking headache. You really want to compete in your household every fucking day, day in, day out. By the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you want to be with some masculine bitch. You know, I mean, that's a pain in the fucking ass. We got to deal with that shit every day and everything else all the time. We want to come home to some peace and harmony. So I just think there's too many guys who tolerate it, where they're like, oh yeah, she's hot, so I'm going to try to stick with it. And yeah, she can go party with her girls and grind her ass all over other dudes and all that and be a little slut. But I'm just going to tolerate it. I mean, it's not going to work anyway. You know, they don't like the guys that tolerate that shit. That's the whole paradox here, is that's not actually what they want. You guys ever seen 50 Shades of Grey? That's what they like. They like the dominant shit. They like the possessive shit. They like the jealousy shit. This is all like secrets of what women really want. And of course they say, oh, that's bad. Oh yeah, we don't like no, we want to go party with the girls and our guy just doesn't even bat an eye to it. We don't grind our little asses on whatever and get a bacteria-ridden STD from some random dick. And we just don't want our guy to bat an eye to it. And we don't want him to be jealous, nothing like that. We just, we want him to just kowtow to us or whatnot. And that's what they say, but that's not what they really want. You can't, a bunny's not going to tell a wolf how to catch it. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of what we're seeing here. But what's crazy is they're actually trying to believe it themselves, but they can't. And they're never going to escape this. It's always going to be the case where they're going to be depressed. They're going to be anxiety driven. They're not going to be happy. And as they age, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And you can look into this shit. The women who are further from their femininity, the ones who don't have a lifelong partner, the ones who don't have children, the ones who aren't nurturing, the ones who aren't embracing their femininity, the longer that goes on, the more and more depressed they are and displeased they are with life. That's just how it works. That's just the lot that we've been given. And it's whatever, it's just how it is, and if they don't like that, then they just got to deal with it one way or the other. Either keep going against the grain and try to be a man or whatever and be depressed and anxiety driven for the rest of your life and lose all of your market street value by the time you're 30 years old and become a cat lady after that. Or embrace your fucking femininity. And we're kind of in the same boat. Men are. We can either embrace our masculinity, or we can try to be like however the powers that be tell us to be. Like if we watch the commercials, we listen to the news, we watch the movies, just all this woke bullshit. It wants us to be the embodiment of that. But if we do that, we're going to be depressed. We're going to be anxiety driven. We were meant to be conquerors, men. We were meant to possess. We were meant to dominate. We were meant to execute. We were meant to be all those things. And when you're that woke bullshit, it's just going completely against that. So, and it's not to say that it's fun either. You could say that, well, being a man, yeah, that sounds like a pain in the ass, Iceman. You're saying I gotta go bust my ass all fucking day for a lady. And I'm saying, yeah, if you find the right one, good luck on that. But that's just how it works, I mean, we find our it factor or our spiritual journey. We find our ascension in the providing, in the protecting for the woman. And yeah, that's a pain in the ass. You got to bust your ass all fucking day. You got to make money. You got to try to pay the bills. You got to try to pay her way. That's just how it works, and that's in our nature. So to an extent, you could say that we're all slaves to our nature. But that's just how it is, This shit has been ingrained in us since the beginning of fucking time. And if women want to be the alphas or whatever, they can go ahead and do that, but point of the video is they're going to be more and more depressed and anxiety driven as time goes on. And men could try to be the opposite of what's in our nature. And the same thing applies, but to a greater extent with women. The more partners that they have, the more sexual partners they have, the more depressed they are. And that's not really the case with men. Because of the fact that they're the limiting factor in human reproduction, the women are. So by nature, they're the ones who reserve it and only give it to a few, whereas men, they just want to spread their seed wherever the fuck it can go. So obviously, the more that he's able to do that, generally, that's not a bad way to be necessarily. And it doesn't necessarily make them depressed if they get a ton of pussy. But women, it's the opposite effect. And it's because of the things that I've mentioned. They're the limiting factor in human reproduction. And it's very risky to get pregnant. It's very risky to hold a child. And you can only produce a couple every 9 months, if that, you know what I mean? So all those risk factors by nature make them more reserved. And so it can be difficult for men to get pussy, obviously, because they're the limiting factor. So that's just how the dating game and the dynamics work. You can look at the research on modern day dating, especially where if you look on the apps, for example, about 90% of men aren't able to get pussy, right? And all the women who want to get dick or whatever, if they want to, they can get it. Because men are just always willing to go, but women are just holding back. So sometimes you get the oddities who are just willing to let the guys screw them. But even with that, they're still going for the top tier men because they don't have to choose the ones below that. So you get a ton of men who aren't getting any sexual interaction. And that's just how that shit works. Especially the more promiscuous a society becomes, it kind of factors up like this, where less and less men are getting pussy. And I guess we'll see how well that works out in terms of sustainability of a civilization. When you got the multitude of men aren't getting any, and the women are just jumping from cock to cock to cock up on the top. So the guys, the 5% of the guys up on the top are getting all the pussy, And we'll see how that works out. You know, I mean, I think it's going to spread a lot of STDs. I think it's going to cause a lot of broken homes, obviously, or broken relationships, or single moms, because you have one guy has kids with 10 different women. And that's not sustainable either. So I don't know, maybe the future's fucked. Maybe that's the point of this, but I'm just letting you guys know, be cautious of this stuff. And I would say, if she shows you signs that she wants to be masculine or whatever, just move on to the next one, you know, just ignore. Because the top tier desirable men, they don't want a masculine woman. And that's the paradox, is these chicks, they want a masculine guy. They all do secretly. They want a guy who's strong, confident, powerful, providing, brave, all those things. And it's just how the cookie crumbles. Those things come with the traits of possessiveness, of jealousy, of control, you know, which is why they're always attracted to these fucking guys. I remember when I was growing up, the guys who did the best with women were the bad boys. They didn't give a fuck. They were possessive. They were controlling. They were jealousy, and they were outward with it. They were like, "You're not going over there." And she was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Yeah, you're not going over there, bitch. If you do, I'm going to go fuck so-and-so and we're done." And strangely enough, these guys are the ones who are getting all the pussy, and she'd stick around. It's not new news that good guys finish last. The reality is, I have a refinement for that saying. It's good guys don't just finish last, but they never finish at all. Because it's true. Like I said, most of them aren't getting pussy, so they're not finishing at all. If you're a good guy, that's just how this shit works. And I think that there are women who are picking up on the fact that they've been lied to, that, oh, I've been told not to like certain colors now. I've been told not to be feminine now. I've been told that I have to compete with men now. I've been told that I have to be a man now. Where the reality is, I like things like knitting and art and painting and taking care of animals and doing my nails and doing my hair and looking pretty, you know, things like that. You know, just all the shit these chicks have been attracted to since they were young. And I think to an extent, they've been lied to and deceived when they're told, oh yeah, it was just the patriarchy that made you like that. Yeah, the patriarchy just wanted them all to like the color pink because, I don't know, guys didn't like pink, but we like to see it on women or something. Or that's how we'd identify women, as if they're wearing pink. I don't even know what the fuck the argument is. Why did the patriarchy want women to like pink? Can anyone let me know in the comments below? Did they just like want to be able to see the women out and like they want to be, okay, we know if they're wearing pink, they must be women. But that must not be the case, because back then, the differences were more prominent. You didn't have like buzz cut women all over the place and all that. So, I mean, why did the patriarchy want women to like pink? I don't fucking get it. I mean, guys, I don't think we're really attracted to pink. It's odd. And in my last video, what I said about the whole pink thing is, I think women like it because by nature, they've been more collectively, gatherers, you know, so they would go out and gather shit and they'd gather flowers and all that. So they're a bit more with their visuals, that they like the more vibrant things. And men just in general would like the darker colors. Like me, for example, I always like the color green. It's no fucking wonder why, because men were more hunters, where we'd put camouflage on and shit. And we go hunt shit. So it's no wonder I was attracted to that. And a lot of chicks are attracted to the more high, vibrant colors and all that. But can anyone answer me that? Why the fuck did the patriarchy want them to like pink? I just can't fucking believe that's... I'm trying to grasp this. You know, I guess they just got together like, ha ha ha, we'll make them like the color pink. Ha ha ha, we'll paint all their toys pink and we'll put them all in the pink section and we'll teach them to be the women. Is that how it started? I don't know. Like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Let me know in the comments below, but nonetheless, I'll see you guys later.